It is time now for our pre-Thanksgiving political roundtable, and joining us today, Democratic analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican analyst Ginny Buckingham. Good morning, guys. Great to see you. Let's start with a reaction to our conversation with the Senate President. Reactions first. Ginny, kick us off, please.
So a few things. I thought she did a better job than usual at explaining what the Senate has been working on, because from the outside it often appears there's not a lot happening on Beacon Hill. I thought she laid that out pretty well. No love lost there for Diana DiZoglio. I'd like to know more about what's behind the scenes there. And third, the openness to passing something to deal with affordability on energy. I think that was important.
Marianne?
I was interested in what she said at the end of the interview about housing and healthcare, and I think that's where she's really going to make her mark in this last year of the two-year session. On housing, she's put Julian Cyr in charge, and he represents the Cape and Islands. If there's a housing crisis anywhere, it's there, and so she told him to go big and bold, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. On healthcare, primary care physicians, nobody can get them, and if you have one, you can't get in to see them. And those are things that people in their everyday life worry about every day, and I think they're really going to make progress on that.
All right, let's move over to what you mentioned, State Auditor Diana DiZoglio. She's now leading a ballot question campaign to subject the legislature and the governor's office to the open records law. Now, DiZoglio wrote on social media that the question has gotten more than 100,000 signatures. The legislative audit approved by voters hasn't happened because legislative leaders, they're not cooperating with it. And that's sort of stalled right now. Do you think this will be any different, Marianne?
Well, first, I think importantly, I feel like it's my job to remind everybody that much like the Ghislaine Maxwell records that couldn't be released during the Biden term because she was being prosecuted, it's the same, it's a separation of powers issue here. So the ballot question that passed is, can one branch of government audit the other branch of government and all that? And we're going through a constitutional crisis right now on that. So I think that's important to remember. And I think when you go through the new initiative for public records, the auditor is setting herself up to win no matter what. If it passes in the ballot, she wins. If it passes and it doesn't get implemented, because I think there are questions there about what records should be public, she's going to set herself up as a winner. So politically, the auditor's setting herself up for the next thing, and she's trying to use these ballot questions on transparency to do that.
A lot of states have open records law that do apply to the governor's office and legislative leaders. Do you think that this time around for the auditor will be any different?
Well, I think it will be harder to make the argument that there's a separation of powers issue because this isn't constitutional. This is about the open records law and extending it further to other parts of government. So I think on that front, she'll probably have an easier case to make that it needs to go forward.
But there are always certain records that while they're in the public domain because of
that's the case now. That's the case now. There's a whole process.
Right, in terms of people who you redact victims' names and things like that.
That happens now.
Right.
Next item, Governor Healy is blaming high energy bills of the Trump administration and tariffs. But here's the question. Do you think Massachusetts' own policies, for example, like climate goals, mass save, they are just as much to blame, Ginny?
Well, it's smart politics on her part to try to point the finger elsewhere, and that will get her so far. But there are a lot of things that we can do as a state. That the House, for example, floated this bill that would roll back some of the climate goal mandates and got pushed back immediately from the far left. So she has to decide what's more important, affordability or appeasing my base, and we'll see where she lands on that.
She says she thinks it's possible you can kind of meet both goals there.
Well, I guess time will tell, and so will the bill that comes in the mail.
Well, I mean, they're both true. The fact is, Donald Trump, shockingly, is illegally withholding LIHEAP money. That's federal money that comes to Massachusetts and every other state in the country to help people pay their energy bills as we've all pulled out our winter coats, number one. Number two, when you look at programs, and Senate President Spilka pointed to this, Mass Save was a great program in the beginning, but it's not so great anymore. And everyone needs to take a look at that. So I think you have to do all those things, and you don't have to compromise the needs of the environment in the process.
I would like some clarity on whether she did or did not stop the two gas pipelines from coming to Massachusetts. Back when she was running for office, she said she stopped them, and now she says she didn't. And I think that bears looking into as well.
All right, a jury has ordered the Massachusetts State Police to pay nearly $7 million after a finding it discriminated against female and minority troopers. How do you think this will impact public sentiment about an agency that's really found itself engulfed in scandals for years? What do you think, Marianne?
Well, we can all hope, okay? I mean, one would hope that this settlement, and it's a steep one, 4.1 million of it goes to the plaintiff, a lieutenant in the state police, who happened to be the rare unicorn, a woman and a woman of color, because the state police are largely white males. So the culture there has been a problem for a long time. Lots of people have come and gone. Maura Healey put a new head of the state police in there from out of state, at first outsider, to change the culture. It doesn't happen overnight, but you hope a big multi-million-dollar settlement like this might get the ball rolling.
What do you think, Ginny?
Agree. I give Governor Healey credit for bringing someone in from the outside. That's a big change. This was a settlement based on a 2016 case, so let's hope things are getting better.
We continue on the record. Stay with us.